I wanted to jump online today and talk about one of my parenting tips I give every parent who's dealing with a child or children who push back when asked to do something. Now, what I tell parents when this happens, and we're talking about a child who may just be giving you the I'm not excited about this look, all the way to throwing themselves on the floor and going into a full blown temper tantrum. So, when this happens, don't immediately launch into discipline mode. So that's where you're reacting to the situation with your child by assigning them a consequence for pushing back. Now, instead of doing that, I encourage parents to hit the pause button and ask themselves this question: is my child's response reasonable from their perspective? So, what I'm asking you to do is put yourself in your child's shoes for just a second and figure out if them pushing back at your request makes sense to them. If you take the time to do this, you might find the answer to that question is actually a big yes. Let me give you an example. I was just talking to a set of awesome parents last night. They told me they recently planned a fun weekend getaway for their family. Now, when they told their kids about their plan, their normally adventurous preteen daughter began complaining she didn't want to go, and she actually got sort of upset about it. Her response surprised her parents, and instead of telling her, "We don't care if you don't want to go, we're going anyway, and dang it, you're going to have fun," which is a reasonable response from your perspective as the parent, what they did do instead was a little digging to try to figure out where her pushback was coming from. It turns out one of her friends is planning a big birthday bash that same weekend, and she just doesn't want to miss it. Her pushback was really reasonable from her perspective. She just doesn't have the skills yet to be able to explain it to her parents without them doing a little bit of coaxing. The important point here is that they pushed the pause button. They tried to get into her head a little bit and figure out why she would be pushing back here. They calmly had a conversation with her and asked her a few key questions that got her talking. And when she was able to explain her response to them, they problem solved the situation together. They can still go have that fun weekend getaway together, but they'll just do it a little bit later in the month and not on the same weekend as her friend's birthday party. Now, I love this outcome for this family. They still get to go and make fun memories as a family, and their daughter knows her parents care about what's important to her. They demonstrated to her that they are reasonable, rational, and thoughtful people who love her and want to understand her thought process. It's a beautiful thing. So remember, when you're in a situation with one of your kids where they're pushing back at you because of something you want them to do, hit the pause button. Put yourself in their shoes. Try to do a little bit of sleuthing to figure out their reasons for why they're pushing back. And once you understand their why, it's much easier to problem solve it together.